Hey guys, I hope you guys are doing good today. We are going to talk something about 5OX errors on today's video, something every SRE or system administrator has encountered. These errors are not just a cryptic code, they are the key to the understanding what's going wrong in your backend systems. It is important as an SRE, you would have likely seen this error pop up during an outage or high traffic events. SR understanding the 5OX errors, whether it's 502 or 3 or 4, is critical. Each code tells a unique story about the issues and point you where exactly the problem lies. So we will break down what you will be going to gain on this video. So each 5OX errors means where you will see them, the common scenario when they occur, and most importantly, how to mitigate and resolve this effectively. So don't skip around, watch this video fully. It's a packed with tips to help you quickly understand and remediate to find the root cause of these errors. What do you mean by HTTP 5OX errors? 5OX errors indicates a server-side issue. These errors occurs when something goes wrong between the client and the intermediary like load balancer or proxy and the other backend server. Okay, let's talk about 502. The 502 is known for bad gateway. What exactly it means? The 502 happens when the gateway or proxy receives an invalid response from the upstream server. Take an example. You have an application which is not at all opening, but you might have seen this 502 error in your NGINX or load balancer logs. So this usually happens when the server gets crashed. Say for example, like imagine you have a reverse proxy like NGINX, the forwarding, it is request to the backend Node.js server. So unfortunately, the Node.js server would have got crashed. 503, it's known for service unavailable. 503 occurs when server is temporarily unavailable due to maintenance or overloaded. A food delivery app gets crashed during a lunchtime traffic spike. Look at this. Application is completely hanged and it's not even responding. So what exactly happened? A lot of traffic would have been come on this particular application and backend service would have got completely overloaded and it's not able to respond to the request. 504, it's known for gateway timeout. The 504 happens when proxy server times out waiting for a response from the upstream servers. Best example is all about a payment gateway API took too long to respond. When you look into this diagram, lot of users are observing slowness in the applications. So mostly it happens due to your server CPU would have got crossed more than 90%. Where we can see this 5OX errors. So it is commonly observed in the systems with intermediary like load balancer or reverse proxy. So load balancer, when we talk about, it's all about AWS, ALB or NGINX or HA proxy. It's often displays these errors when backend system is completely unresponsive. The reverse proxy errors are logged into NGINX or Apache logs. You should be able to see it somewhere in the /var log NGINX error logs with the 502 and 503 errors. Let's talk about on what scenario that you should be seeing this 502 errors. A load balancer forwarding a request to an EC2 instance that is completely misconfigured. When you look into this issue, users are observing a lot of 502 errors. Application is not at all opening and SRE, he jumped into the outage call and he observed something wrong in the configuration. ALB health check is configured with 8080 and your backend service port is running with 8081. So due to that, ALB is not routing the request to the backend EC2 node and it is determining that the backend service is completely down and it is throwing with 502 bad gateway error. Let's look into another issue. Here, the users are observing a lot of 502 errors where application is not opening. So what happens exactly? SRE, he just jumped into the call and then he just looked into it. He found DNS record has a different ALB IP and ALB has a different IP. So this seems to be a completely a misconfigure. So what he has did finally, he might have been updated the correct IP. So ALB is having 10.0.01 and DNS is having, the DNS record is having 10.0.02. So he updated with 10.0.01 in DNS. So once he rectified it, obviously the issue would have got fixed. So where exactly you can see this 503, which is completely a service is unavailable. Say for example, an e-commerce site is completely overloaded with the flash sale, or API throttling when too many requests are sent simultaneously. On these scenarios, mostly you should be able to see this 503 response. Okay, so when you look into this particular diagram, users are observing a lot of outage. Application page is not at all opening. SRE has pulled into an outage call. SRE has checked the configuration seems to be okay or not. He confirmed the configuration is completely okay. And he saw another one more issue. Basically, each EC2 node is receiving 1 million requests. And he checked the configuration of EC2 node. It is having 2C, 2G. So basically, it has 2 core and 2 GB. So during this particular kind of scenarios, when EC2 nodes receives a lot of requests, which is more than the capacity of that particular server, obviously we may see a lot of 503. EC2 node would have been completely overloaded with lot of requests. CPU would have been gone very high, and obviously it can't respond the request back. During this kind of scenarios, you should be able to see this 503 errors. Where exactly we can see the 504? 504 is mostly about a gateway timeout, a slow database query timing out the web application, and high latency with third-party API. During these kind of scenarios that you should be able to see this 504 gateway. Look into this diagram where exactly users are seeing some issue with their applications. SRE has pulled into the call, and then SRE, he checked it. All the configuration seems to be completely okay. And then he's observing a 504 in ALB logs. So how he is going to identify and fix the issue? 504 is all about the gateway timeout. When you look into this DB part, where exactly it is overloaded with multiple queries. So due to this effect, it will impact your application, where application is waiting for the response from the DB. Probably this will add up a lot of latency, and obviously ALB will generate 504 error. Same as with third-party API. This API is completely overloaded or it is having some issues. Your service will definitely get a lot of 504 errors. Okay, let's talk about something on the mitigations. When you look into 502 mitigations, basically the server health check is crucial. Restart the backend service and validates its health. Another one is all about you have to inspect your proxy configuration. Ensure your NGINX is pointing to the correct IP and the port. And third one is all about you have to make sure they resolve the DNS issues. Mitigations for 503 is all about auto scaling, rate limiting, and maintenance mode. When we talk about auto scaling, use AWS auto scaling groups or Kubernetes HPA to handle traffic spikes. When we look into the rate limiting, the throttling excessive requests protects the backend service. Maintenance mode is all about server static maintenance page during the downtime. 504 mitigations is all about you have to optimize the backend performance, you have to increase the timeouts, and you have to update the retry logic. Okay, let's talk about optimize backend performance. You have to improve the database query and implementing the caching. When you look into the increasing the timeouts, adjust the timeout settings in NGINX or ALB. Basically, AWS ALB. NGINX is all about proxy read timeout. In looking into an AWS ALB, it basically talks about an idle timeout. Retry logic, use exponential backoff in client-side retries. 502, 503, and 504 indicates the critical backend issues, but with proper monitoring, scaling, and optimization, they can be minimized. Do you want to get more content like this? Then you have to subscribe my channel. Please do subscribe it.